Hello guys, welcome back to Fatality Fitness with your Shifu and Farah. We are covering Kung Fu basics. This is the second video. The first one was stance. This one is hand techniques. So we're going to be covering today hand techniques of blocking, of palm striking, of fist striking, of redirection. And this is just going to be a small introduction to the possibilities of those things that we can do with our hands in Kung Fu, because these are truly the Swiss Army tool of Kung Fu. With the hands we're able to do everything from an eye poke to a throat strike, to a hammer fist, to a back fist. And then that doesn't even include turning someone's wrist out, snapping it to get them off you. There's a limitless amount of possibilities. So, first of all, let's look at the hand and how Kung Fu, we're going to have an open hand, and we're going to have a closed hand, okay? The open hand isn't like this, as if you are about to grip something. Closed fingers, or strong fingers where they're nearly closed, and there's tension in the hand, okay? With the fist, we're going to close in the fingers. If you can start with the little finger, tuck them in, close the thumb around them, lock them in, and that is your fist. And one of the differences of a Kung Fu fist and a boxing fist is a boxing fist is usually the twist to deliver the punch all the way down the power line and direct it to the enemy, the opponent. I say enemy a lot. I don't really have enemies, to be honest. You probably think I have lots of supervillains running around. I don't. Just a word. So with the fists, we strike straight, twisting, hammered, back. We use every part of it in Kung Fu, and Kung Fu is very much practical in terms of trying to teach smaller people how to defend themselves against bigger people, which is one possibility or interpretation of why Kung Fu started thousands of years ago and why it still persists today. And this is my goal, is to showcase that ancient teachings are probably and possibly greater than any teachings we have in the modern day. We have a lot of information now, but not a lot of learning. And for me, you can only earn what you learn. Knowing the answer is never going to answer your questions. It's just going to know another answer you can regurgitate. With Kung Fu and its techniques, they may seem a little foolish to the layman looking at them, but there's always a practical application. As fancy as it might get, as stylistic as it might get in a snake style or a tiger style, as ostentatious as it might seem, there's always practical applications. And these hands are probably the most practical. So, fists should not be a permanent fixture, okay? Whereas in boxing, I know they say you have your hands open, but they're open within the glove like this, and then you're supposed to clench as you punch. Kung Fu is different because we only punch when we mean to punch, and then it comes back. Obviously, we have the horse stance where we're holding fists, but equally as much, you can hold an open hand and pull back an open hand, okay? Which is good etiquette, I would say, because we don't know what we're going to need. So that's why we don't keep any one hand. We keep them open to be able to strike and strike and strike in a way, however we see fit. So, there and back again. What do I mean by this Lord of the Rings reference? I mean that any strike, it should be thrown with the knowledge that it's going to come back to you, okay? I know that sounds very obvious, but you'd be very surprised at the amount of people you can teach a technique, for instance a punch, and that is the punch. Whereas that is like writing a sentence without putting a full stop on it. That's not the punch, that's the punch. The punch is the coming back to, or the strike, whatever the strike is. It's got to come back. And that's an important aspect of Kung Fu because we use motion and fluidity. So if one thing moves one way, it opens up the possibility for something to move another way, okay? And that opening and closing is such a tenet of Kung Fu across the board, across everything we do. The yin yang being the Taoist symbol for Kung Fu, that is why we have to have a balance, and the opening and the closing is what is going to generate power, speed, and also how you can devastate an opponent. That's how. So we want opening and we want closing, we want soft and we want hard, okay? This is going to start sounding like a different instructional video, but let's polish over that. What I want to practice straight away is we have the horse stance, 1, 2, 3, down, okay? We practiced in the last video just punches, don't even have a name, just punches from the horse stance. Now, let's get a standing rigid stance. So up high, one more similar to Wing Chun, okay? So you want to close off your body slightly. You don't want to stand square, more boxer. Left foot further forward, right foot slightly further back, and we're at an angle. Angles are beautiful because they're easier to dodge and easier to deflect. So if I get a hit here, it might be easier to deflect and then I can come back. If I'm hit here, that's it, it's just coming in, right? So here. What I want now is the snap punch. So we can have open hands, and the snap punch is, okay, I'm going to bring it back, don't worry. Basically a jab, but you snap it out and bring it back, okay? So see from the side, snap punch, and you can hit straight, so your arms don't twist at all. They come like this, like pistons, or you can turn, as I like to do. For me, it's good to get across the board of martial arts, which I love, is twisting. Okay, so let's practice a snap punch. So your hands, left hand and right hand should be covering something. For now, I'm not going to tell you a straight and true rule because I want you to feel these things out first, the actual motions, not I've got to do this and this and this to be able to do it. Let's just try. So we want an angled stance, a razor body, so it's on the side, and your hands, this left hand could cover my face, this right hand could cover my body. Block, 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 bam. Okay? So here. So we start with the left hand, snap punch, right hand. Snap punch, right hand. And again, we're looking at the entire body here for even something that translates to just the fist. The snap punch, I slightly lean into, as if you're trying to catch someone stepping into you and you throw a stiff jab. I flick through. Feel it up, down, back again. So this punch, snap punch, much like a jab, is that first port of call. It's someone stepping into you, it's a fast, quick, true strike, which could stop them if they don't have the true intentions of fighting you. So someone's walking towards you, they're threatening you, you know, you understand that this is going to escalate into action. The snap punch, if they're about to throw a punch, and often in a street fight, it's swinging, so it's this or this. That snap punch, bang! Just to the jaw, to the nose, anywhere in the face, even the foot, bang! Snap punch. Stop them in their tracks, make them question what they're actually doing. I am not trying to ambassador just going around snap punching people in the face. I'm talking about Kung Fu in itself is a self-defense. For me personally, that's my knighthood, is that the martial artist can have a lot of power, but the Spider-Man thing is we must also have a lot of responsibility. And I've had many street fights, but I promise you I've never started one. That is not the martial artist's modus operandi. It is to protect yourself and protect those around you. So, I'm not telling you to go out there and snap punch people or reverse punch, which is the next one. Reverse punch, if you remember the gun bu here, and when we do it in this stance, so the tension, the weight, and that punch. The reverse punch, one of my favorites of all time, and it translates beautifully to boxing. But let's say the snap punch is the jab, and then the reverse punch is the two or the cross. But for me, my reverse punch, it's more loaded. So I'm channeling my energy, channeling my chi into this, and it passes through my body. Because my body, everything works to deliver this punch. So from the side, my reverse punch is, you see that even my front leg turns slightly to gain the torque that's coming through my hips from my back foot, which is digging my toes into the floor and twisting. And if you can make this twist as simultaneous with the punch, with the delivery, it can be devastating. Reverse punches can finish matches for sure, especially if you catch someone in the sternum or the gut. For me, this is more of a traditional technique I still use in modern MMA sparring and whatnot. The reverse punch takes me off the center line. So someone's throwing the jab or the straight to my head, takes me off the center line, and I'm able to deliver my body's weight and torque just into bang, right here. And it can knock you back, it can hurt you, it can take your breath away. So with the reverse punch, let's get back to the standing stance for now, upright. I wanted to use the gunbu as an example for the twist. But let's start with here. As I said, there's an opening and there's a closing. For this to smash, it can't just be, it has to be the motion. So you want to bring this front shoulder back slightly to push that through. And as I said, you turn the left foot or the front foot a little bit to shift your weight off the center line, and your back foot is where you drive through from the ground, generate that power. Bam, bam. Okay, so let's practice reverse punch. So your hands are up, open, close. I know there's a lot to think about, but try and enjoy thinking about it. Try and enjoy, okay, that's my feet. Now my hips. Okay, that's my hips. Now my hands. What am I doing with my hands? I'm bringing one back to cover as I bring the other forward to drive through. What am I doing with my head? Is it staying still, or is it coming off the center line slightly? Build up the pieces, and then you will see a beautiful picture at the end of it. And I'm still practicing this. 26-ish years into my Kung Fu journey, I still practice my reverse punch religiously. I still practice my side kick religiously, because there is no such thing as mastering practice. So there, we can also try it off the opposite leg. So if you switch legs, if your left was forward, put your right forward now. So same principle. You can feel a little alien on the other side. But I'm going to twist the front foot, drive through the back foot, come off the center line, and deliver the punch. Actually, let's go here. Okay, so that is the reverse punch. It's a power punch. The snap one is the interceptor. It's the stabbing. It's the, you prod with it. The backhand, the reverse punch, is the cut, as Miyamoto Musashi would say. You can slice or you can cut. This might slice. This is going to cut. Okay? And hold that power within you. Understand it. Feel it. Feel good by it. Feel empowered by it. It's one of the best things about teaching martial arts to people, because I'm a personal trainer as well. So I teach standard fitness, personal training, HIIT, and then also boxing, kickboxing, kung fu. And for me, it is not a lot better than empowering someone to know that they are better than they just were because of this. And for all of the modern confectionery that we have flying at us, I don't think there's anything more rewarding to the self than understanding that you just made the self better. And martial arts, to me, it's the ultimate. It's the ultimate form of bettering oneself. The ultimate. If the world falls away tomorrow, I will try and be a champion of martial arts in the new world so that we all have some understanding of who we are physically and mentally. Martial arts are going to make you feel empowered. So let's continue. So we've got snap punch, reverse punch. Now let's have an open hand strike. We've got the ridge hand, okay? Ridge hands are very specific, but I just wanted to show something that's quite different from a standard thing you might have heard of in snap punch, reverse punch. So ridge hand, we take open hand, you want to hand tension, you close your thumb just on the inside, so you have the thumb's knuckle here. And the ridge hand is an inward strike that comes and the most powerful way to use this technique is you're imagining the thumb knuckle is striking the temple. So as you hit, it's striking the temple here. You can see this technique, it occurs more in the katas and the animal styles we might be practicing, but it's still not a bad technique to practice, especially because the motion is very different from the punches. The punches are more straight. This is like a loop, a bit like a hook, but obviously the delivery system is much different. So, with the ridge hand, if I'm defending up, down, I close this shoulder off and twist so my front shoulder has leverage, and then I'm throwing around the outside to hit directly into the temple, okay? So, and that's how we'll do it this one. We'll practice either side. So all you need to imagine is this is what's hitting. Try and let go of the mechanics of it, and like this is what's hitting the temple. Visualize. Visualization is so important. You can get the twist in the foot for a bit more torque, to twist the shoulders into it. You might feel like the practical applications of this are limiting. Carry on. Because when are you only going to aim for something that's like an inch big on the temple, you know? But the point of Kung Fu is it prepares you for everything and anything. And you never know when or what the opening is going to be. So practicing something like a ridge hand is just a great way to enable yourself to know, okay, I have another tool in my arsenal. And for me, like, that's how it feels to have this many years of Kung Fu behind me, is, holy shit, like, there's a lot of things, there's a lot in my arsenal. Whether I pick up a stick and have a staff to strike with, or whether it would be super close and someone was clinching me and I'd have the more Wing Chun aspect to get out of it. And then obviously a full-fledged kickboxing competition where people are pumping side kicks, swinging, spinning kicks. The arsenal is what allows you to feel empowered. And it's not through, ooh, look at me. It's through understanding that me is protected in whatever situation I go into. So the ridge hand was with the inside of the hand, and you're hitting with the thumb knuckle. Now let's try a palm strike. And these can go any which way. For now, we're going to practice. It's a slightly angled strike. We're going to hit with the outside of the hand, the very opposite of what we just did. We're going to hit with the outside of the hand. And these are strong and powerful. These are pushed through the opponent. So this palm strike, for instance, we could attack actually the collarbone. And the collarbone could be what I've just recovered from a broken one of this. It wasn't a palm strike, it was something else. But pushing that through is a good way to understand that. I bet you've never thought of punching someone's collarbone or kicking someone's collarbone. But with a palm strike, you can understand that there's an option for a strike if you see an opening. And I think there's a few katas actually where the palm strike goes to the collarbone. So, fighting stance, upright stance. We're here. Let's say I'm gonna go for traditional, like loose, more Jeet Kune Do and looser. I would bring my palm up and push through to strike it. So let's go for the loose so we can practice that mechanic, okay? So with the front hand, you bring it up, then you tense, then you push to strike hard. So with the left, the front hand, with the back hand, again, it feels kind of weird, but you're gonna bring tension to this. And this is something we learn in Kung Fu, is how to bring tension and attention into something very specific. So whereas your hand is normally your fingers, dexterous or fist, this time it's going to be rigid, okay? Rigid, powerful, but open. So the back hand comes much like a cross, just through. With this front hand, if it's low, to protect, we can go bang. And then we can do 3 again, okay? So, and 3 again. Speed it up. And these are driving strikes. Again, the dexterity of this is the palm strike can be used like this. Excuse me. It can also be used more like a chop. We all know karate chop. When I've told a million people throughout my life and my journeys, I do Kung Fu, I'm either met with, whoa, or, oh, Bruce Lee, or, does everybody go Kung Fu fighting, or karate chop? And I'm like, okay, where do we start? But the chop, as such, is very similar to the palm strike, but we'd come through with it. We'd come as if we're cutting with it, rather than pushing it. So, front palm strikes, chop strikes, okay? And these are for the neck, which you probably have seen from like 36 Chambers of Shaolin or something. So these strikes, you have to open and close. This is not, that is not it, okay? You have to use the entire body, and you should, just in these 2 videos, be starting to feel and understand how the rest of my body, my legs, can help deliver the strikes with my hands, sorry. So you should start to feel across your body how to help your body, or how to assist your body and throw in what you need to throw, okay? So let's practice chopping, palm strike. As you can see, I can kind of swap my hands, almost pass my chi to deliver the strike, and that gives me the shoulder motion to be able to deliver each strike powerfully and correctly. Okay, that is it for the practice for now. These are just some of the hand striking techniques. Obviously, we have a lot of deflecting and guarding and redirecting, but this is just the basics. This is just the very basics. These are the core concepts to give your body the core understanding of the movements and the motions, okay? So, what is used to bow is used to break. Hand techniques including blocking, deflecting, redirecting and striking with any variable of fist or hand or palm should be practiced alone and in partnership. This stuff alone is great, but it's going to feel totally different when you actually strike someone with it. Obviously try it on a bag or a training dummy as well, but these kind of strikes can be partnered. Kung Fu is a beautifully partnered dance, a yin and a yang of that's how you grow and develop within it, is understanding that this block actually can work better if I block with this part on the opponent's forearm, so it delivers a little damage to the forearm muscle, okay? And you can only learn that when you are with another partner. So, if you have a brother or sister, get them in and say, let me teach you some Kung Fu. Again, no snap punch into the face, but it's good to go through these motions with another pair of arms stopping you and attacking you, okay? So the dexterity of the hands allows for directing our energy and recycling the opponent's energy. For instance, if I'm getting thrown at with a 2 across here, I could come in and catch it here, twist it round and deliver a hook. You could, the cross coming in, I could step back, deflect it down, which would open up their head as they're coming across. It gets deflected down, palm strike right to the face, right to the nose. The possibilities really are endless, but we have to practice each technique for its own purpose. And then you can put them together when it comes to the putting together sequences of attacks and defenses with the partner or just the katas. So, that was Kung Fu Basics, hand techniques, striking. Thank you very much for joining us today at Fatality Fitness. I will see you next time for some leg techniques. Have a good day.